Today, from the same place I look out and I see the love and compassion in the eyes of thousands of fellow New Zealanders and human beings from across the globe who fill the hearts of millions. Loading, the terrorists tried to tear the nation apart with evil ideology. Instead we have shown that New Zealand noted the extraordinary outpouring of love and support from the general community here over the past week. To the people of New Zealand, thank you for your peace. Thank you for your haka. Thank you for your flowers. Thank you for your love and compassion. But he added a call to governments around the world, including New Zealand and its neighboring countries, to bring an end to hate speech and the politics of fear. The martyrdom of 50 people and the injury of 42 did not come overnight. It was the result of the anti-Muslim rhetoric of some political leaders, media agencies, and others. He was met with spontaneous applause as he addressed Jacinda Ardern, who was present at the service, to our Prime Minister. Thank you. Thank you for your leadership. It has been a lesson for the world's leaders. Thank you for holding our families close, and honoring us with a simple scarf. Thank you for your words and deeds of compassion, Mrs. Allardyce said. Ms. Ardern had spent 10 minutes at her husband's bedside earlier that day, holding his hand, and talking. He went on to thank those who had pulled over their cars or opened their doors to save those fleeing the gunman, those who donated blood and brought plates of food to the refuge center, the police officers who risked their lives to bring the attack to an end, and the ambulance service and medical staff who fought to keep the wounded alive. Imam Foda described Islamophobia as a real and lethal phenomenon. It is a targeted campaign to dehumanize and irrationally fear Muslims. To fear what we wear, the choice of food we eat, to fear the way we pray and the way we practice our faith. The last week's events are proof and evidence to the entire world that terrorism has no color, has no race, and has no religion. The rise of white supremacy and right-wing extremism is a great global threat to mankind, and this must end now. Huge crowds gathered in Hagley Park across from the Al-Noor Mosque for a national call to prayer 1 week after the terror attacks. Credit: Jason South. In the crowd was Tagrita Lacris with her 2 daughters. Her husband Al-Shahade Sinawi was shot in the Al-Noor Mosque and is now in Christchurch's hospital. The 3 women said they had been stunned by the response of Ms. Ardern since last Friday. Mrs. Allardyce said Ms. Ardern had spent 10 minutes at her husband's bedside earlier that day, holding his hand, and talking. She said she believed Imam Foda was speaking to some Australian political and media figures when he addressed New Zealand's neighbouring countries and called for an end to hate speech. Abdulaziz, the Afghani-Australian who has settled in Christchurch and was hailed a hero after he fought off the gunman when he attacked the Linwood Mosque, said the sight of thousands of New Zealanders gathering to observe the Muslim call to prayer and to honour the dead had been moving beyond words. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern at Friday prayers in Christchurch. Credit: Jason South. That coward, he tried to divide us, but now we are together and he is alone, he said. After Friday prayers, much of the community returned to Memorial Park Cemetery to continue burying the dead. 26 bodies from the Christchurch mosque shooting were buried on Friday, a week after the terror attack. Credit: Jason South. Behind the security fencing and armed police, a host and a small army of volunteers sought to manage terrible logistics of a mass funeral. After prayers were said inside the vast marquee set up in the Islamic section of the cemetery, the shrouded bodies were carried aloft open-numbered caskets to the graves prepared for them. Groundskeepers dug 50 graves earlier this week, though it is expected some of those murdered in Christchurch will be repatriated. Please my brothers step back, 6 to 8 brothers only. The host urged the bereaved time and again, explaining there was not enough room inside the marquee to hold all those who wanted to help carry their loved ones. A policeman hugs a mourner at the gravesides. Credit: Jason South. He reminded those families bearing more than one person that they could use different groups to carry each body. He reassured others that family members would be buried side by side. By 6:10 p.m., the last body was carefully passed by hand into the ground, to covered with earth by the family they left behind.